Good evening and welcome to the Pownal Elementary School District Board of Directors meeting for August 15th. Opening on the first thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any public comments? Just visitors? Great, we love visitors. Yes. Okay. Action items, financial. A treasurer's report for June and July are enclosed.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made second. Is there any discussion on the treasurer's report? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. The consent agenda,
So moved. Second.
motion been made and seconded. I tried to call central office tonight and didn't realize they were closed. There were a couple questions on the warrants, but I think I almost figured them out. But they're simple. I can wait and get in touch with Todd.
Okay.
Is there any, did anyone have any discussion on the consent agenda? No? No questions? All right. All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right. Administrators Association contract?
Yep, Nick Galt, the Director of HR is here to bring you up to date on that.
Oh, please join us at the table, Chris.
Nick.
I mean, we can get one of that.
I think he actually likes that name.
Well, it is. He owns it.
Yeah.
Do you need
I
one, huh?
had it memorized.
Okay.
Everyone go. All right, Nick.
Alrighty, so what we have here is an overview of all of the changes that have been tentatively agreed between the association and the board. The association has ratified it, and we're asking the boards to consider ratifying it. So Shaftesbury saw and ratified at their last board meeting. So the overview is as follows. It's a 5-year contract, which has been pretty standard for them for the last few contracts. The pay increases, which we'll discuss later, would be retroactive to July 1st, as it was negotiated in a timely manner. Changes to the articles. Article 1 removed references to North Bennington as they no longer have an administrator in the association and haven't for some time. So just cleaned up the language there.
Yep.
Article 5, they asked to introduce some language that would allow them to bring representation to a meeting if they felt that there was to be any sort of employment action. That's something that both the teachers and the ESP unions have, and they wanted to have that option as well. So that's the language.
Meaning superintendent or assistant superintendent?
No, they could bring like a
Like
union rep, essentially. They could bring another member of the association with them to a meeting if they felt they needed to.
I don't have a problem with that, but would the district have heads up prior to that, so they would have representatives there as well?
Usually that's the process. They'll
Okay.
tell, if they're bringing an attorney, then we'll have one.
Okay.
So if the attorney's ever involved,
It won't be a
let each other know,
surprise.
right.
Right.
Article 7, we changed this was about access to their personnel file. It previously read that they could give permission to anyone from the public to view their personnel file, essentially. So we removed that language, and now the superintendent's designee, or the administrator has access to the file. So it's no longer can be opened up to anybody. We just clarified language around sabbatical leave because it was confusing as to whether they were giving a few months notice or a few months notice of a request, or a year and a few months notice. There was a date there that needed to be clarified to make sure everybody understood. On the health insurance, it would mirror the teacher plan, which is currently what the administrators have
Right.
since January 1. They mirror the teacher plan. And so that's what's proposed. And if you'd like, I can get into more detail about that. But it's the same insurance with the same contributions as we offer to our teachers. Earned time benefit. They have a benefit that if they provide notice that they are retiring or resigning by a certain date, they receive a portion of their sick time as pay, which is similar to the teachers as well. It was a different date. We tied it to January 6th, which is the same notification deadline for teachers. Just makes it easy for everybody. On Article 17, we added 5 days to the timeline for both the superintendent and the administrator to provide written responses to an evaluation. It was previously 10 days. We wanted the superintendent to have more time, and the administrator said, well, then we'd like a little more time. So that's just to, everybody's busy. It just gives people more time to provide written responses to an evaluation.
Is that business days or days?
It says 15 days. I can tell you exactly if it says work or calendar, or neither. It just says 15 days, so I would assume calendar days. Excuse me, 15 school days. 15 school days. Yep. It affords the superintendent especially more time if he needs to write anything following an evaluation. Article 18, we removed this. It essentially stated that we all understand that the principal works until the work is done, and that may require more than 8 hours a day. They're exempt employees, so federal and state law already provides that. So we felt it was unnecessary. We removed it.
Cleaned up.
The renewal clause, the renewal article, there is a recall period. So if a principal or an assistant principal is RIFed due to a reduction in force, there was a recall period of 3 years where they would be eligible for the next open position. We reduced that to 2 years. 3 years is an administrative problem to keep somebody sort of on the books for 3 years waiting for the next opening. And we also added language that clarified bumping rights and reduction in force to distinguish between a principal and an assistant principal or an associate principal. So there was no confusion about who has bumping rights in a situation and who would be RIFed in a certain situation, so that there wasn't any confusion between the two positions. Also, the resignation article had another date different than the earned time benefits section. We made that January 6th as well, so if somebody's resigning or retiring, they have to notify us by January 6th in order to receive that sick time payout. And we also added language that in certain situations, the superintendent, at the superintendent's discretion, he or she could provide that payout if there are extenuating circumstances and a principal is unable to give the proper notice. Article 26 was the duration, 5 years. And we also added a section in here that the contract can be opened should there be major changes to the health insurance plan or district consolidation. So we wanted to have that in there if there was some sort of consolidation, to have the option to open the contract up and say we need to change some things now due to any potential changes. And then the last article is relative to salary and 403B contributions. That's the retirement plan. This requires a little bit of explanation, but the administrators have always been tied to the teacher salary schedule. So the base salary for the teacher schedule, for the administrator schedule, is the highest salary on the teacher schedule and has been for years. And then based on their education years of experience, there is a factor that they multiply to get their salary. So what that has resulted in, because the highest salary on the teacher schedule has traditionally been gone up by about 1% every year over the last 10 years, it has resulted in the administrators getting raises of about 1% every year for the last 10 years. So they proposed a number of changes, and the board and the association negotiated back and forth. What it was determined was the easiest way to make this reasonable was to take their salary schedule and remove it from the teachers. So it no longer references the teacher schedule, but has its own base salary that's determined and negotiated through the contract. What that results in is a 3.7 increase to their base in the first year, and then 2 versus what they would have gotten, which was a 2.4% increase. And the reason that's more than what they've been getting 1% the prior years is that in teacher negotiations we added a new step. So that new step was a significant increase. So they would have gotten a 2.4% increase. But what's been negotiated is a 3.7% increase in year one, followed by a 2.5% increase in years 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is, in my estimation, based on the fact that we've seen 2.5 or 3% increases for off-contract teachers and ESP employees. So, non-union employees. So that's the proposed salary proposal, which the association and the board agreed made sense based on the prior history of 1% increases for the last 2 contracts. And then the last item here is on the 403B contribution, which is the retirement plan. If an administrator has been here more than 5 years and they contribute 5%, they currently get a matching contribution of 5% from the district. What's proposed is that if they make a 5% contribution, the district will make a 6% contribution. So 1% additional for administrators who have been here more than 5 years. Any questions about any of the articles?
The only thing I would like to request is, they had, every meeting was during the day, and Pownal was unable to visit during the day.
Well, I'm not, yeah. And the reason why, and this really irked me, the chair of that committee has responsibilities at night, okay? So he did them during the day because he doesn't work, okay? I work. I can't do it during the day.
Well,
Okay.
I couldn't either. I mean, I took your place and I was unable to.
It's crazy.
So
I mean,
I think in the
just because-
future,
Next
it
time,
needs
get
to be-
a different chair
well,
that works for us.
besides Mr. Chair, I mean, it just needs to be all of us.
Understood.
We all need to be able to be at the table.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Or
I-
have different times, like some during the day, some at night, so you can
Great.
make them.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure? Any questions?
Move we
on this?
adopt.
Okay, I think the word is ratify. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Ratify. You move to ratify?
Second.
And authorize the chair to sign.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any other discussion on the issue? Okay, hearing none. We need, to give me permission to sign it.
That goes with it. yeah.
That goes with it? Okay.
The signature page.
You want to vote, Cindy?
All those in favor? I'll move. Today is,
15th.
thank you very much for the work that you put into this.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
And I think 5 years is great.
So we don't have to go back to the table. Teachers and
Fine.
ESP are up for
Yes, I
negotiation
know.
this year.
I
So
know.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to keep it. We can keep it, right?
We'll do those at
you
night.
can keep the overview if you'd like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a note of that. Okay, very good.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris?
I love this. Okay, we're on D, policies, 7192. Correspondence to the board, and this is to warn.
So moved.
The motion's been
Second.
made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this one? This has been around for a long time. Are you just revisiting this one or
Yes.
updating it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because nobody
Yeah, it's
pays
not new.
attention to it, that's why.
They do when I speak to them.
They don't.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no other discussion on it, all those in favor signify by, oh, great, it passes. Very good. All right, now we're down to the superintendent's report.
Good evening. One thing I want to talk to you about is the safety grants. You may have heard that you were awarded somewhat. So this is the Vermont Department of Public Safety, and we had to do an assessment of safety in the spring and then submit our application. Then on August 1st, or maybe it might have been the next day, the state released it. So Pownal is receiving almost $15,000. Actually, yeah, you're right. Almost 15. So 2 projects were funded for Pownal Elementary School. The visual and auditory lockdown mass notification inside and outside of the building system for a total of $9,500. So that was awarded. We have to match 25% to that.
What is that?
The auditory, we know we're in a lockdown system, makes an announcement outside and inside the building, so.
I thought that's why we put the.
You have the
blue
strobe
light.
light, you have the
Strobe
strobe,
lights,
yeah,
yeah.
that-
Now you
you
have to
have
talk
the
to 'em?
visual, yeah, there's gonna be
We're
an
gonna add
auditory.
We're gonna add some stuff,
Add-
when Vic
add
came,
to
we're
it.
gonna add some, we
Yep.
got that grant.
So you're one that has that blue strobe light, but not everybody else does, so there'll be
One of the
additions to it.
greatest. Ask us.
Absolutely. And the other is the installation of OPEG shatterproof film on the glass for the office and classroom doors and windows, which was a total of, that award was $51.97. Again, we have to match 25%, which Renee assures me that we can do. So
That's good.
that's good. That's what you asked for, and that's what you got. Yeah.
Excellent.
Some more items to keep the children and the staff safe.
Safety.
It's important.
So speaking of safety, you got an email from me yesterday about some drop-off procedure changes. After meeting with our schools, the SVSU safety coordinator and discussions with parents, decided to go with a consistent practice throughout all the schools, and in morning drop-off and afternoon pickup. Parents are not going to, unless you're a kindergartner for the first week, you will not be able to escort your student to class. You're going to have to drop them off at the front door. School safety today is all about a single point of entry and making sure that we're secure once you're inside the building. So maybe a change for some, but it really is the best for all our students.
Is this the first day you're talking?
Yeah, it'll start the first
I
day.
have one question,
Yeah.
because I've already had one parent come to me and ask, and I couldn't answer. They have a special needs student, and they're allowed to walk that child
Yeah.
to class. Would that
That
continue?
so
Or would
each
that be
principal
built
is
into
gonna
their IEP?
Yeah, each principal's going to have the discretion. This is their building. They're going to have the discretion to make, like, we're also at Molly Stark, because of the early childhood program there, we're going to have to make some concessions there too. So there's flexibility in that. It may require that parent might have to have a background check to, just like, visitors will still be allowed in the building, volunteers will still be allowed in the building, but they're going to have to go through that sign-in procedure,
Right.
just not walk down. So,
Walk right in.
because think of it, once the students are in, then we secure the building, but we can't always be sure that everybody who came in during drop-off has left.
Right.
And, we're talking about
No,
people who have
I
access
think
to
it's
our
a good
hallways,
idea.
bathrooms, classrooms, so
Yeah.
it's long overdue, and because we want to do everything we can to make sure
And more
that
stuff
students
to
are
keep
safe.
them safe.
So, understood. And the other thing, I know further down on your agenda you have to Act 46, but I do need to get to MAU, so I was wondering if we want to talk about Act 46 a little while I'm still here.
Yes, and actually Todd's the one that brought it up, and I tried to find the list of what you were asking about. I do know that on September 19th, there's going to be a meeting in Chester, Vermont, which my husband and I are both planning on attending.
Yeah.
So if you want to tell us what your concerns were?
Well, I guess the Secretary of Education put out some questions that we had to answer as a board as to why her proposal or our proposal is better than her proposal. So I thought that we should have a cohesive answer for those questions.
So at that meeting on the 19th, because what I did, there's 3 regional meetings. That's the last of the regional meetings. The
Yeah.
first one in July, and you can go online to the AOE website and you can see the minutes from that meeting, so you'll know how it went. So some districts actually went to the meeting, made a presentation about they didn't like the Secretary of Education's plan or what issues they had with that plan, and they spoke to it. So you can ask to be on the agenda, because we are one of the districts, Pownal is one of the school districts that is on the agenda that day. There's also time at those meetings for individuals, so like if somebody disagrees with what this board decides, an individual can go to speak, sign up to speak, they'll be allowed 2 minutes to speak. So if you look at the minutes of those meetings, you'll see that some boards who were in agreement with the Secretary of Education just submitted a letter. Shaftesbury last week voted that they are going to submit a letter, they're not going to attend. But they submitted a different Section 9 report than you did. They sent remember, we go back to Act 46, we had a study committee submit a plan, the vote failed. So because we did not have a consolidation, we had to submit a Section 9. The Secretary's report to the state board is a Section 10. That's what is out there now. And the board has to decide, the state board has to decide by the end of November what they want to do with that plan, whether they're adopting it or not. So these regional meetings are so that the board, the state board, can have input from local boards about how you feel about the state plan.
Okay, this is so convoluted. Let me ask this question. So in September's meeting, it's gonna be either one of two things. They're going to leave us alone, or they're gonna combine the elementaries together.
So
Because
yeah,
they can't do K-12.
no, they can't do K-12. So
We know
the
that.
secretary's plan is that we become a elementary school district, which would be Pownal, Shasberry, Bennington, and Woodford.
Woodford.
They are doing, my discussions with the state is that they are doing a draft of articles of agreement, default articles of agreement on what this new district would look like for all districts. Because one thing that the secretary's plan did not speak to, and that's what I specifically asked about when I called, was how is the board made up? What is the governance of the board? Because
That's what
remember,
we
there's,
wanna know.
there's different governance models. There's the hybrid model, which is how Mount Anthony is formed. There's proportional representation, which would, if I was in Pownal or Shasberry Woodford,
They
I'd
would
be
not
concerned
want it.
about.
Mhm.
Or there's regional, which is how the Creative Element Center is. They vote, everybody in the school region votes regardless of where the person lives. And anybody can get on the board regardless of where. There's no quota by towns, where the hybrid model protects quotas. They told me, the AOE, Donna Russo-Savage told me that the draft articles are going to include the hybrid model. So that's good. What you may be concerned about, and I'm concerned about, and Shasberry's concerned about, is and it's only in draft and it's not written, hasn't even been presented to the board, is 2, 2, and 2. Everybody gets 2 seats, including Bennington. So when Bennington had their meeting 2 weeks ago, we did not know that. So now we know that. So I don't know how the Bennington board's going to feel about the draft proposal from the state. Would be that they, in this new hybrid board, they would only have 2 seats, where in Mount Anthony model, they have 4. Shasberry voted at their last meeting that they feel that Bennington should have 4, and that's, they're not attending the meeting. They're sending a letter to the board, to that meeting, that they're in agreement with the elementary district, but feel it should be a hybrid model, and it should be Bennington 4, everybody else 2. This board should have a discussion about what you want to do. Do you want to go as a board on the 18th, ask to be on the agenda? We'll send a letter to the state board saying that you are attending, as opposed to just going to submit a letter, and speak your mind and say what your concerns are about the plan. Maybe you're in agreement to it, maybe you're not, but I know your Article 9 was,
Yeah.
and it was a
no.
while ago, so you might have changed your mind, but that's,
Well, the way I read Section 10, the report, there was 4 articles basically in the secretary's report. Simplify the existing structure by going from 4 to 1 board. Resource sharing across the school district, which I believe we already do, the majority of that. Increase scaled reduction in tax fluctuation. They're just putting that out there. They're saying that. There's no data to back that up.
No, there's no savings.
And, proposed by boards to merge the districts. They're just dangling the carrot out there, and we don't know what's on that carrot, whether it's gonna do any good for us.
because you don't have the incentives now. The incentives
Right, the
lost.
incentives are gone.
They're gone. Yeah, they weren't worth it.
So I don't see anything in that Section 10 report that would lead me to change my mind as a board member as to what we submitted in Section 9, that we stay as we are.
So have that discussion as a board, make it a motion so that you can report on, at that meeting, that as a board, we stand behind our plan, or but if it fails, what do you want? That,
We want to be left alone.
I mean, they start talking about school of choice. I mean, logistically, how do we work that out? Who's gonna foot the bill?
Yeah.
The parents are gonna have transport. Well, what if a parent doesn't have a car? So now who's gonna foot the bill? We know who
and
is.
we haven't seen what this draft agreement's like yet.
When will those be available?
I don't know when it's going to the state board.
2020,
I don't
When they
know.
force it down the
Yeah.
throat.
2020, you maybe see it.
Yeah. Because I said
So we can draft a letter, see who's going, who wants to go, and we have to let you know so you can be invited.
I will let
We'll let-
the state board know
We'll
that
know.
you plan on attending.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, personally, I don't feel Bennington should have 4. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I didn't know they had 4 on Mount Anthony, that they only had 3.
I don't see anything wrong at all with Mount Anthony's structure.
You're okay with 4 and 2 and 2?
Yeah, because they don't have control.
What?
They don't have control.
There's more town votes than 4 of the other towns. but
Right.
I'm not telling you what to do either way.
No,
Just
I know
like
you're
telling
not.
what
It's
you.
either 6 to 4 or 5 to 4.
Yeah.
They don't have control.
I haven't seen a vote along town lines at Mount Anthony
No.
anyways, but.
I think it works pretty well.
So you could decide you want to send, well, you already said you're going to go.
Yeah, I'm going.
So I will let them know that you're planning to attend. Whether you want to submit something in writing beforehand for the board to consider,
They did request that.
yeah.
They did request that you submit something ahead of time for them to review.
Well,
so they
maybe we can write
prepare.
it up,
Yeah.
and talk about it for a couple minutes, and we'll
So
write it up.
have that
I'm glad you took
discussion, but I will at least let them know that you're coming, and if you have something submitted or you need some help with it, feel free to contact me.
it. Okay,
All right?
very
Okay.
good.
All right.
Um,
Any questions of me, or I'm going to go to
Yeah,
Mount
you need the
Anthony's?
paperwork to sign.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yep, thank you. Yeah, Renee will not be happy if I come back
How many
with
we
that
got here?
unsigned.
2? Oh my God, how many?
Summertime, yeah, things add, they add up.
Ooh, minus 3. All right, we got 4. Give us a minute.
I have time. It's
I'll
not
do
till
the-
6:30.
I'll
so.
do the quick names instead of the full name.
Drive fast, Jim.
Red Sox
Always
are on-
obey the speed limit, especially when the
Red
cameras
Sox are
are.
on at 7, so hurry up.
They're starting at 6:30 tonight.
6:30
They're
tonight.
having the new Mount Anthony Union principal is being introduced tonight. They're doing a little reception for him first at 6:30.
Red
Steve
Sox
and
are on at
Nixon.
7, so hurry
Oh,
up.
speaking of that, where's Todd tonight?
He is at a game. He had a
Yeah,
chance,
I
and I
know
said
where
to
he
him,
is.
"You have tickets to a game. I am not
Get
going
that on
to."
camera, right, Jim?
Well,
Yeah, I'm going to say that kid. Todd is in Philadelphia watching the Red Sox.
There you go.
Good for him.
Good for
Enjoy
him.
yourself. I hope you catch them all.
That's right.
And if I didn't have the new teacher workshop today, I
You'd
would have
be
been there
too.
last night. so,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, all right. All right, that was that one. I know it is. I knew it was gonna be. That's right, we're almost done.
I advised Todd to go. I'll go on the record saying that.
Yes, he did say he asked you.
Yeah, he
And
did.
you were gracious to say better check with the chair.
Well, he's rooting for the right team, so it's.
Oh, is that why?
yes.
Oh, okay.
I think he is.
Yes. Okay, while you're writing that, I guess the only thing left is the chair's report. And the only thing I have to report is that our next meeting will be September, I think the same day as the September 19th. Do we know at this point what time that meeting is in Chester, Vermont?
The other meetings have been at 8:30 in the morning, so I assume,
8:30.
yeah.
The schedule, they had a schedule out in that section 10 report, and it said that ours is at like 1:45, our meeting time.
Your meeting time is at 1:45?
45?
Yeah, so
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
did not
better
see-
than 8:30 in the
yeah.
morning, but it's all right.
And Chester is the southern region meeting.
Yes,
just
it
an
is.
hour and a half from here.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, I know.
Very good.
Thank you
So
very
Thank
much.
you.
for-
have your Act 46 discussion, let me know how I can help you with that,
Okay.
and I will let them know that you will be there.
All righty,
All right.
very good.
Have a good night.
Okay, if you want to take a couple minutes to discuss this, we can. We can do it now if you want.
So you're
What-
going,
Yeah, I'm definitely going.
so
And-
should
and
we
anyone
send a
else?
letter with Cindy? Or
Yeah,
send a letter?
but can I make a suggestion?
Yes,
Have Todd write the letter? Seriously? Okay.
I don't care.
No, because I think
He
I
knows,
think
yeah.
he's got not only a
Somebody
grasp on it,
wants
but
it
he
bad,
knows
and
how
it's
to
an
do the
emergency.
BS. Okay?
Okay, are you all right with that, Todd?
Do you have time for that, Todd?
I would, oh, sure, I got plenty of time, nothing but time, right? I don't need to sleep.
He's got time. You don't need
Uh,
That's
Who
right.
needs sleep? I don't sleep
Right.
either.
I would just like some input from the fellow board members, from you guys, anything that, I mean, I'll put a draft together of
Yeah.
my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and send it to
And
me.
if you disagree, I'm totally fine with that, I think we need to speak as a board.
Right.
I don't have a problem with,
Yeah.
with 4, 2, and 2, and 2. I really don't.
'Cause
That's
it'd
the
be-
way it's been.
So it would be 4
Yeah,
and
but they're,
6,
but
right?
aren't they suggesting 2, 2, and 2? Why wouldn't we go with
Well,
what they're
that was what was on
suggesting?
the draft. I would say go
Yeah,
that
we're
route.
Yeah,
I would
I
too.
agree.
I would too, 2, 2, and
Okay.
2.
I don't want to just go along with what they say.
No.
I just don't see the advantage
No,
to our
and I think,
student.
yeah, I think you
students,
need to speak
student
up.
body.
I agree.
I don't
The
see the
greasy,
advantage.
the greasy wheel gets, the greasy wheel, no, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not to say if we request 2, 2, and 2, we're gonna get it. then if we wind up with 4, 2, and 2, you know,
It's
that's-
not 4-2-2, it's 4-2-2-2. So it's 6-4.
So it's 4 Bennington, 2 Pownal, 2 Shasberry, and 2 Woodford? Is that what you're saying?
That's
I
what
think
the
it's
model
one
is.
board. I feel like if it's one board now, it's not so much like that anymore. Now we're
Right.
one elementary board. I think it should be 2, 2.
2, 2, and 2.
2, 2, and
Exactly.
2.
Exactly.
Right on.
It's not how,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
Might
I don't
disagree,
know.
but
At least 3 of us feel that way. What is your thoughts?
I think it would be 2, 2, and 2.
Okay, so there's 4.
I don't, why do you need that separation?
Right, anymore. Like at one point,
No.
maybe we did because we have a different structure.
Right.
So we're gonna write a letter and say, I'm sorry, I'm a little out of this loop right now, that we agree or disagree? Like, I mean, at this point, can we disagree?
We can. Our
We can do what we
first,
want.
Right,
Our
but I
first-
mean, so we disagree, but what's that gonna get us?
That we
may
disagree
very well
that
get
we'd
us
like to
nothing.
stay the same,
but that's
if
But we at least
possible.
stood on our principles.
But if we can't stay the same, then we can merge, but 2, 2, and 2.
You know, I mean, that's what our voters chose.
No, I
By the
agree.
slim margin that it was, that's what they chose.
No, I'm with you, but I'm just wondering, I was wondering if there was some,
Is that you,
Way
sweetheart?
out.
yes,
Answer it.
yes, no, I'm not gonna answer it right now. Nobody died. I can Okay, so hypothetically, the way we presented it when we went to central office was, we wanted, our first request, leave us alone. Leave us the way we are.
Right.
And we said, if you can't leave us the way we are, that was our first. The second would be put all the elementaries together. And I think that's the way we should present it. Our first and foremost is, leave us alone. I mean, they left Arlington alone, I don't understand why. But it's not like we only have, it's not like we have 900 children, we still have, what, over 3,000? Close to 3,000 in the SU.
Yeah.
So we're not talking peanuts here, we're talking a crowd. So I would say, leave us alone, and then 2, if you can't, 2, 2, and 2 on the elementary boards.
So that'd make 8 members for the one elementary board. And I think that's a good amount.
I do.
And why do you disagree with that, John?
because Bennington has the most students, and it works fine with MAU. And that's 4, 2, 2, and it's only 1 for Woodford.
Yeah.
But it's 4, 2, 2. Well, it used to be 2 for North Bennington, but they dropped out, so now it's 1.
But,
So
I
it's
guess-
5 to 4 still.
but in that respect,
We're
all of a
supposed to
sudden,
be
if,
1.
if we're 1, it's not a case
Right,
of
it's not
Bennington's
Bennington,
more.
Shasberry,
No,
Pownal, Woodford
it's
anymore.
not.
We're
They're
one.
all our students, so
Right.
let's
That's
just
right.
Yeah,
treat them
then-
all the same.
Bennington is gonna say that, I know it, they've always said it right along, well, we got more
Well, they
children.
should. They
Well, good
should.
for you, but if we're all together, we are now one big happy family. We're
You're not
not,
gonna be, you're never gonna be
200
one big happy family.
I know we're not, but
We
hypothetically.
can try, just like we
You're
can try
never
to
gonna be
have
one big happy family.
peace on earth, for God's sakes,
Yeah,
have a
peace on
positive
earth.
attitude.
So what's-
P-I-E-C-E on earth, yeah.
What's
you
the
got it.
advantage,
You
John,
got
to
it.
going to the model that you?
What do you mean It's
Well,
it's
what's
worked.
the- what's the
it's worked-
advantage? What's the-
It's worked with MAU. Bennington still doesn't have control
But I guess why? I mean,
Why should they have extra people?
because they got extra kids. They got 9 million kids up there. Just that simple.
They're looking, in my mind, you look at it as they're looking to be able to swing the ball.
They're not. They're
Not,
able to
not that
swing
they're
the
gonna
ball.
all,
No.
they're not gonna
They-
jam it down anybody's throat,
they
but
haven't
now
swung
they
the-
have a more,
They haven't
legitimate
swung the-
deciding
They haven't
factor.
swung the vote, yeah.
It doesn't matter. I think we're all gonna be one because we are,
You're not gonna be one.
we are, all
No,
the
you're not.
elementaries
No,
are
you're
gonna
not.
be together.
You can dream all you want, Cindy. You're not gonna be one.
All right, it's 1 against 4, so
That's
let's do what
And
we
I
have
use
to do.
common
'Cause I don't
sense. You're not
wanna-
gonna be one.
Okay,
We can try.
Yep.
You can try.
We
yeah.
can try, though.
Yeah,
We can try.
Everybody
try.
tries. Everybody tries.
any other suggestion? Is there anything else we have to answer for that letter?
Well, and so do we address like what happens to our building at this point, or no, it's just this hypothetical
they,
of what we?
the 4 articles that she put forth did not address anything. It was very brief. I mean, it was less than a page.
That's great, no.
You know why? Because they don't know themselves.
Right.
Exactly.
They don't
That's
know.
why. So
That's
it may be premature for us to go up there or for them to have these hearings.
Oh, no, it's not premature, because if you don't show up and tell them what you're thinking,
You'll
No, I
get
mean
it.
on their part.
So in the letter, should we ask what's gonna happen?
course.
No, I think we have to answer the questions, you know, why our model is better than the one that she proposed.
We've
Okay.
done this. We've done this so many times. So painful.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, this is not the first time we've done this.
I know.
Okay.
Okay.
A convoluted state, that's all.
And then what happens? So the hearings happen, and then do you have a firm grasp of what happens after that? Then by 2019?
Not until their plan comes out, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another hearing, and then who knows how long it's gonna take them to make their decision. Everything's up in the arms.
November.
They don't know, pretty much.
Yeah, they're saying by the end of November, but I don't know if that will happen.
They'll issue their
Keep waiting.
response, and then we'll all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's just a guessing game right now.
So do I have to make a motion or anything, or can we just say that Todd's gonna?
Oh, make the motion, yeah. Make a motion that Todd's gonna write the letter.
Make it official.
Make
Make
a
it
motion that Todd is gonna make up the letter to send to the state on September 19th with Cindy, or does it have to go before Cindy?
We have to get it up there before. I think they said they wanted it a week in advance.
Okay,
Oh, did they? Okay, we can find out how. Jim will tell us.
They want to be able to review it.
for our model for Act 46.
Right. Anybody, can somebody second that?
Second.
Okay, motion made second. Any other discussion?
I think you ought to address the school issue. In that
School what?
letter. The school issue. What happens with the buildings and everything else. If they haven't brought it up, somebody should.
Basically the assets of each district, right?
yeah.
Right.
And not just the assets, but whatever monies there are.
Are you talking Bennington's $4 million debt?
Yeah, I'm talking everything, that's right, I'm talking everything. Well, you
That oughta
gotta
go
address it.
Right, so I
If
would
you
say
don't
this is
address
how
it,
we
you're
want
gonna
our
get,
model.
you're gonna get stuck with it.
And if we can't go that way, then we'll do the combined, but then what happens to our
What-
assets?
You wanna know that.
Okay,
Who owns them?
yeah.
Yeah,
Is he still in charge or is?
And anybody
uh,
that wants to go up, it's, you know,
So should we make a motion now to put the upgraded heating system and air conditioning based on the vote of the bus thinking plan?
What did it come
How did
out
the
at?
bus
it came out
sinking
okay.
fund come?
It passed.
Okay.
It passed, yep. A lot of yeses, just a few noes, but it passed. So now we're able to do that. You know, and that was my thought too. Do we hold up?
No.
I would
Do
say
it.
we do it.
No, I say
I
we
think
do
we need a
it.
proposal.
Do it when you get the money.
Okay,
Before
I
you
think we
get
need
the
a
money
proposal.
gone.
yep, okay.
Take one
We'll
thing
do
at a time.
And they should at least put air in into this room. Central air would be great, but at least air in a few rooms.
Put a bucket of ice in front of it.
Okay.
Somewhere for these
All right.
parents and teachers
so-
and kids.
All right, we have a vote on the floor. If we're all done discussing it, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And as ASAP, as soon as you can get us information on that.
Kevin, were you here for a reason, honey?
I was gonna go over real quick what we've done this summer. I
Okay.
told Todd I would
That's up to
stop in and-
Cindy.
Okay, yes, yes.
So,
So we, is this discussion all done?
Wait.
Yeah, but let's
Wait.
make
Right.
let's
What?
make a motion to get rid of the money. To
Fix the building up.
fix the building
That's
up
what I was
with the
gonna
money.
clarify. We have kind of two motions floating
Just
around.
thinking
One is
fund.
Todd's letter.
We made a motion that Todd is gonna write the letter.
Yeah, then we
Second,
never voted on that.
We never voted on,
No.
I thought we just did.
all in favor for Todd?
Okay.
Aye.
aye,
For Todd.
okay.
Well, then we got talking about this other, so I wasn't sure if we voted
Okay.
for.
Okay.
Now, what's the
moving
next
money.
motion you wanna make?
The sinking fund.
What should we do with it? Should we go ahead and have the boiler?
Get it.
Get it.
definitely-
Get it done.
We desperately need boiler system more than we need that kind of money sitting in a sinking fund for buses that we don't.
Right.
Hardly
So I
ever
make
use
a
it.
motion that we take the bus sinking fund and
And
put
address
it
the boiler
towards a
issue.
new boiler
Okay.
and checking into some air in the building somewhere.
Couldn't agree with you that more than on that after this summer.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. That's a whopping yes. Okay,
Okay.
So yeah,
Yep.
basically I just wanted to let you know we did get our stuff to do our own lines out there in the parking lot and the no parking, and that's all been done, and so now we do have the stencils. Next year it's just $150 worth of paint to redo them, you know what I mean? So we can do all that ourselves, and that's been all done. We got the new light up on the corner of the building for the parking lot, and it does light it up
Does
very
very well. I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
we don't need, we talked about we may need one on the other end, we really don't. And that one on the other end was a more expensive one, so this really does a great job. We had an inspection right at the end of the school year with the insurance company for the playground. They went around and did them all. We really were in very good shape with they wanted some more wood chips, so we actually just had 80 yards of wood chips brought in yesterday, and Danny and his crew got them all put in a spot over on the other playground there where they had to dig around a little area and put some over there. The new playground stuff is coming from Head Start. They're putting in the 27th and 8th of this month, so it's going to be real close to, and then we got to get another load of wood chips for those, because there's been some discussion back and forth of who was taking care of what, because they originally wanted us to do the excavating, the beams, and they said, I called the lady at the playground place, and I said, that was not what was, at the board meeting,
No.
we approved $3,000 for wood chips, and they were doing everything else because they had plenty of money in their grant. And
Exactly.
so after going back and forth with them, that's what's gonna go on, and we're just gonna take care of the wood chips still right
Okay,
at the
thank
end,
you.
so.
Because if that was not
Because
the
that's what I
case-
said, that's what
That's what we agreed on.
these
That's
guys
what we
agreed,
agreed on.
voted on and approved.
Yes.
So it's coming late, but it's coming right at the end of the summer. And other than that, everything's gone pretty well. Everything's on schedule, and I think we'll be.
No problems?
No, nothing major, other than the heat this summer. But the crew has worked really, really hard and very good, and as hot as it's been. 'Cause it's been, the minute you walk in, you just sweat the whole day. But it's gone well,
We can believe it.
and they've really done a good job. And so those basically were all I wanted to let you know, and let you know what was going on with the playground. And we did get a considerable amount of chips because we needed to. We had to change a couple things on the swings, but nothing overall. It went really well, they said. So that was it. I just wanted to brief you on that stuff.
Question?
Yeah, when's the work gonna start on the grant money that we got for the upgrades for the safeties?
Vic had originally said that we would know by the 1st of August and then have the month of August to do it, but we really just, we did find out shortly after, and now I was just waiting for the same thing, so that they can come in and start doing what they gotta do, because we're gonna add 3 speakers outside, because you can't, if we have a lockdown, you can't hear the announcements out if they happen to be out there playing on the basketball court area or in the ball field. And we're going to add some more blue lights inside. We're going to put one up on the stage because they do use that quite a bit, and you can't hear up in there. So, and as far as the film they're putting on for the Shatterproof, Vic was taking care of that. I'm not sure where he even priced that out of. I measured all the windows for him and all that, so that part I'm not sure. But
So this is all windows?
they're going to do all the entry windows, like the main doors and
Windows and
all the main entrances that we originally had put in for all the doors leading to the outside. If there's shades on them, they won't do them. And I explained that our shades are not terrific, you know what I mean, but they wouldn't do them. So we measured all the ones that they would do. And like I said, it's going to be all the entrance ones, and then a few others that are, like I think Linda's was one of them right there. And Todd's right there, because that's
So what
not-
about the classroom windows that are in the front right there?
No,
So they can just shoot the windows out? But the door in the middle will have the safety protection on it?
Well, maybe,
and the reasoning
maybe,
they say is because it's most apt to happen at an entryway where they're gonna come in. And it would be astronomical to do all of those big
but you know,
windows, and they do have shades.
when we did the doors and windows, we could probably put that down as a project, to maybe do a set of windows a year or something, find out what the
Yeah.
cost is, and we could do it
We
ourselves.
could, but I didn't dare mention windows this time.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't. It was all right for
No,
me
that
to
is
do it,
something
yeah.
that we,
Just in the front right there, because, that's first grade and kindergarten.
right.
As soon as you come up, that's all you see is windows. And you have the nurse's station,
A lot of glass
and,
there.
yeah.
Maybe you can find out what the price is.
Yeah, I
Well,
can,
just
I
price
can
it
do
out
that.
for us.
Yeah, I can
Good.
actually, I think Vic can tell me what it is per square foot, so it'll be easy to figure.
They just put a film on the existing glass?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just put a film on it. So the only thing I'm not sure of is how, like, if, well, I guess if we put it on the outside, it wouldn't really be a big deal, but if you're gonna put anything in the windows or on the windows, how that affects, does it come off easy, whatever you put on, tape or, but I'm sure it's probably just like a tinted window in a car, but where it does come off, but yeah, I can ask Vic what that, what that is, the price of square yard, a foot.
No, I don't think so. Is that to ricochet a bullet, or is that just so they can't see in?
No, it's not, it'll be clear, I'm sure. Makes it harder to get in. I don't think it's actually bulletproof. I actually went to a seminar up north at the end of the year, and they showed different types, and you can take a hammer and literally pound it. It's like kind of like trying to break through a windshield.
Okay.
You know how a windshield will take a big blunt, but that
Yeah.
plastic coating inside won't let it. It's basically the same thing. I don't think it's so much bulletproof as it is. It would slow it down, stop it. It's not going to shatter all over. And if they took a club or a hammer, they're not going to just smash that window. It's going to
So
be
we
gone.
wouldn't have to do all the windows, probably like just halfway up,
That's possible.
instead of going all the way
That's
up.
possible.
Just halfway up.
Where they hit it at the bottom, it's not going
Yeah.
to shatter, which would be half the cost, obviously.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Is there any gas with the grill?
What's that?
The grill, is there any gas with that?
There is.
Okay, because I,
But I will make sure before.
before
But I
the-
had actually mentioned to Todd that we should just get a spare tank and have a spare full one, so if it ever did run out in the middle of.
Do
Yeah.
you know when that's gonna happen?
something.
First Tuesday.
Yeah.
First Tuesday in September?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a spare tank just to have,
Yeah.
so that we don't
Almost
have to
sure.
worry about that issue.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay.
Alrighty?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for,
Yep. Thank you.
all right. Is there any other business to come before the board?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you, Michael, for doing a great job again.